Hello, 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 hello. Hi all, and welcome to another edition of TraderCast live trading, key trading levels and trading setups for popular markets. My name is Phil and I'll be your presenter today. So I'm just trying to see if this is all streaming okay and it's all pushing through. Yeah, it looks to me like it's all going okay. Hell. Okay. Brilliant.
We're just over 5 minutes away from the top of the hour. Just a heads up, the ECB's chief economist, Philip Lane, is set to speak. He's joining a MNI webcast. Unfortunately, we won't be able to bring you the comments from source due to reporting restrictions. If we can pick them up through secondary means, we will bring them then. So just repeat, ECB chief economist Philip Lane is set to speak at an MNI webcast. You can register for the event yourself. And just to repeat, we can't bring you the comments from source due to reporting restrictions. If you pick them up through secondary means, we will then.
Stocks fell on Thursday as concerns about tensions in Ukraine and economic growth offset the flurry of corporate earnings. US equity futures and Europe Stock 600 index declined, while heavens such as the yen and gold pushed higher. Government bond yields retreated and the US dollar was steady. Very quick summary. Hi all and welcome. Welcome to another edition of live trading, key trading levels. My name is Phil and I'll be your presenter today. So some of you are brand new, you haven't seen this before. So I will very quickly go through 3 or 4 slides and tell you a little bit about myself, and then we can move on to the live markets. I'll show you some of my positions and we'll go and check out a few levels. This is going to be fast and furious. I'll try and finish this in about 30 minutes time over the couple of trading sessions yesterday, the day before. Yesterday markets were quite moving and these kind of sessions overrun by a bit, but people were sticking around asking questions, so if you have any, ask. This is about me. If you're looking for a community, check out TraderCast.com. If you are brand new and looking to learn how to trade, you'll find some of my courses on mytradingskills.com. Some of these courses are completely free and they're quite detailed, so go and check them out, see how we teach, and then if you need help with something else, let me know. Okay, that's as far as the salesy bit goes. I had the privilege of speaking in front of various different industry events over the past 10 years, and I had the privilege of teaching many people how to trade. Some of them were brand new, some of them were a little bit more experienced, and they needed help with a specific area of their trading activity. Big disclaimer, I don't have the indication of your personal investment and trading objectives. Therefore, anything I say here should be considered to be my personal opinion and experience. What I'm really trying to do here is I'm trying to put in practice what I think a beginner trader should be able to do. So what I'll be doing with the charts, it's based on a price action. There are no complicated indicators there. There are no complicated strategies. It's just very, very simple trend following, price action trading. And I'll show you some of my live trades and I'll tell you about how they kind of ended up and what I'm planning to do right now. I'm actually looking at S&P right now, but I'm still waiting for another 3 minutes before I can get in on this trade, and I'll talk to you about it in more detail. I'm still waiting for that trigger. Now, some of my positions from yesterday. If you watched yesterday's broadcast, you know what I had open. So I'm currently out of my FTSE trade. 75.05 was the entry. Finally I got out at 7,600 because the price just, it seemed it wouldn't break through that level. It broke a little bit and then came back down and tested it a couple of times as a resistance. So I decided to get out. I was long WTI crude from 89.50 and I'm out at 92.50. So I'm out of that trade. I'm looking for another setup, pullback, and then I'll get in again. I was long gold from 1850, really happy with that. Took half at 1878.50, which was my, if you remember, I was putting my limit orders. Sorry, if you remember, if you watched yesterday's session, you will see what I was doing. And then I moved my limit order higher, and then decided to take partial profits at that level and let it run to another level, which is 1890, and then ultimately was 1900 on the upside. But 1890, really happy with that, really happy with that trade, and that's, I'm out of that trade now. I still have a couple of positions open. I'm still long sterling dollar from 134.92, and I'm still long dollar CAD, but I might get out of that position throughout today's session, because it's just not moving as much as I thought it would, and that's where we are with what I have open currently. Okay, so first things first, let me just show you those couple of positions that I have open at the moment, and then I'll talk to you about a few positions that I'm paying attention to today. So this is my sterling dollar. I will change the time frame.
The US effective Fed funds rate unchanged today, spot 0.8%.
So I have my news feeds in. I'm gonna reduce the levels of that, so just in case. So I got at 31 spot 3500, 35 even. I got at that level, and I'm currently long my limit order. You can see it here, so I don't know if you can see this or not, but let me just do this. So my stop loss is at 134. Sorry, my stop loss, apologies, is above the entry. So this is where my stop is, 135.24, and my limit order is up here at 136.60. I was also paying attention to these swing highs here at 136.40. So what I'll do at the moment is I will take the liberty of moving my stop loss higher.
ECB's lane says if medium-term inflation dynamic is anticipated to stabilise around 2%, this will permit a gradual normalisation of policy. If inflation threatens to persist significantly above the 2% target over the medium term, a tightening of monetary policy will be required. And if inflation anticipated to fall significantly below the 2% target, setting an accommodative monetary policy will be necessary. Comments there from the ECB's lane via Reuters.
Apologies. So we have. I've moved my stop loss higher. I moved my stop loss higher, about 66
Russia
points
says
above
there is no Ukraine invasion, none planned. According to Interfax, they're citing
I think
the
markets
Russian
are moving
response to
on
the security
geopolitical.
proposals. Russia says there is no Ukraine invasion and none planned.
So here we go. Moved my stop loss higher, locking in 66 points on this trade. Really happy with that. I would like to take profits up here, but you know I wouldn't be too shy taking profits up here as well. 136.40.
Anticipated to stabilise around 2%. That will permit a gradual
Sorry, I'm gonna reduce the volume on this.
Cable
still in this trade. Happy, leaving it running, and I won't be changing anything out of this trade at the moment. Okay, the other thing that I still have open, I have open dollar CAD, and let me show you that setup. This is what we were talking about before. So dollar CAD in daily is uptrending, and this was a sideways consolidation. We got some Canadian data which was indicating the inflation, and I was seeing this as a sideways consolidation and potentially a retest of this zone down here, 127. I got filled at 127, and I was considering what to do. And we saw a little bit of a pullback, and I thought, okay, this was the analysis from yesterday. I was saying if we see a breakout and then retest, potentially we could see another move higher, and it's just taking its time. Look, support, resistance, breakout, support. Although I'm in this trade at the moment, I might get out very quickly, because what I should really be seeing is I should be seeing a breakout to the upside, like that. And let me just show you all of that as well.
And Russia says de-escalation will require that Ukraine comply with the Minsk agreement and no more weapons should be delivered to Ukraine. Russia insists on the withdrawal of all US forces from both Central and Eastern Europe. That's Interfax citing the Russian response to the security guarantees.
So we're seeing this coiling price action, and this type of price actions that then normally precede explosive breakouts. So the bullish breakout would be a breakout to the upside and 127 level holds, and then breakout, retest, and then gradual move higher. So that would look like this. So breakout above here, and then retest from above, something like that. And then that would trigger another leg higher towards this area here. And I would then take fib from here to here, and this would give me the 61.8, and then this is another fib level as well from a different swing highs and swing lows, and also relevant in a different time frame.
Overreact to elevated near-term inflation.
So that's where I am with dollar CAD. Keeping an eye on it. I might get out of this position if I see a flush lower and a candle close below. I don't necessarily want to be in this position anymore, unless we see a breakout. I'll show you that position straight away. Dollar CAD, and then we can go and check out a few other markets. It's been a long week. It's been a long week for me. Very busy yesterday, day before yesterday. I like when markets are volatile, markets are moving, and they were moving not just on economic data, and you know, we had Fed minutes as well. We had inflation reports from various different countries or regions. We had unemployment data. That's all moving the market. So that's where I am with this trade. So this is currently positive trade. I'm in the money with very small. This is the hourly. So what I'll do is I'll move my stop loss very tight, and just leave it. I might get out of this trade very quickly if it doesn't break to the upside. If it doesn't start rallying from here, I'll be stopped out, and I'm currently risking about 9 points in this trade. That's all. Not 100% on this trade anymore. Okay, now let's talk about some of the other stuff. Hi guys, hi. Hi Samuel, hi Kasali, Hamid. There's a few people watching, so hopefully you're finding this informative.
Twitter here, Russian reporters saying that TASS is reporting Putin has now launched a series of meetings to prepare a message to Parliament. Reports suggesting this could be linked to the option for Putin to recognise Luhansk or Donetsk, or the general escalation in Donbass. Reports just coming via Twitter at the moment. We'll try and get the full piece from TASS.
Markets are currently moving on this news and a perception of a geopolitical risk more so than fundamentals and economic data releases. Like yesterday, we got Fed minutes, and for those of you who know what Fed minutes are, nothing new came out of those minutes. We didn't get anything unusual. We didn't learn anything new that we didn't already know. Fed are keeping an eye on inflation, and they are thinking of potentially hiking interest rates next month in March by quite likely 0.5%. And if they do that, that will trigger further strength in US dollar, and so on and so on. If they don't do anything in March, markets will lose the confidence in Fed, and then they'll have to do something more severe in one of the next meetings, and so on. So that's basically the basic premise, but it's
More from Russia,
indicating that we should get a continuous US dollar strength. I'm keeping an eye on this dollar card. I really don't like the way it's behaving. You know what? I'm going to get out of that position. Because I no longer want to be in it. Okay, I no longer want to be in it. So this is currently a losing position for me. I'm going to get out of this. I don't like it anymore. It's been open for a day. It should have rallied. It didn't. It's just messing around, loads of chopping, and doing nothing. Now, this is the famous thing. As soon as you get out of your trade that you waited for a very long time to happen, and you reacted to the confirmation that you were waiting for, the markets turn around and say, oh, he's out, now I'm gonna go up. And then you say, oh, why did I exit? What did I do? I should have waited just a little bit longer, and so on. And it happens. But I no longer want to be in this trade. I'm out. Happy. I was happy with quite a few other trades that I had, and we'll talk about some of them in more details. Samuel is saying, yes, I'm enjoying it as usual. Well, great. If you have any questions, ask. I'll be more than happy to try and help and answer. Hopefully it's all very straightforward, and so on. Now, there is one thing that I'm paying a very close attention to at the moment, okay? This is S&P, and S&P is potentially looking bearish for me, looking bearish for me. So this is a daily time frame for S&P, high, lower high, lower high. 4 hourly, we have this consolidation here, and these type of patterns, they have tendency to break to the downside. So that's what it happens. Loss of support, a retest, and then, so basically I should have been drawing it like this: support, 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 loss of support, a retest, off it goes lower. Now, this here is the mini version of that. Okay, it's the mini version of that.
Comments from the Ukrainian Defense Ministry says the shelling from pro-Russian forces has stopped as of 1 p.m. local time.
And now I don't know if you can hear, but there was a message from Ukrainian Defense Ministry saying that shelling has stopped from pro-Russian separatists, if they want to call them like that. Or the markets are moving on geopolitical events more so than anything else. But here we go, S&P. So what I'm looking for at the moment is I'm looking to potentially short sell S&P. Okay, so I'm looking at this as a mini version of that, and I'm looking for something like this to happen here. So this is the hourly time frame, and this is the 15-minute time frame. So we are about about 18 minutes away from US cash markets opening. I'm paying special attention to the loss of this support and now I would like to see something like this develop. So loss of support and then a retest, and then after that I would like to see another leg lower. So that's what I would like to see. That's what I would likely react to as a short sell. The level that I'm paying attention to is at 44.50, so around here. Various different reasons why. I don't want to go into too much of the detail analysis because I realized that I overrun yesterday and day before yesterday. The sessions went on for almost an hour, and you know, some people are they want things short and sweet rather than me explaining too much about stuff. Some of the other people who are brand new, they're saying, "Ooh, this is great. Can you do more of that stuff?" so I'm trying to kind of please everybody, but hey, that's where I am. So I'm looking at 44.53. If I get the chance to get in at that level, I will likely put my stop loss up here initially, about 44.80, which is about 30 points away. 30 points away. Yet again, when I'm saying 30 points, it's 30 points for me in my trading platform, for the product and the market that I trade. Some of you might be trading you are probably trading with a different broker, and they might say this is not 30 points, it's 300 points, depending on how much leverage you get, and so on. So check the market that you're trading, check the conditions, click on the information button there, and figure out, is it 30 points or 300 points for you. But that's the level that I would be paying attention to. Okay. The other thing that I'm paying attention to is, if that happens and I see a nice, a lovely, juicy reversal here, I would then look to take profits lower towards initially these lows here at 44.30, and then up here 44.10, and then ideally down here 43.80, 43.70. So this is not ready just yet, but I'm paying close attention to that, and I'll keep you informed. If I decide to do anything, I'll let you know. But that's where I am with S&P at the moment.
Being reported now, Russia expels the deputy chief of the US diplomatic mission.
Samuel is saying, waiting to hear about gold. Okay.
The deputy chief of the US diplomatic mission in Moscow. Follows not too long ago, Russia expelling the deputy US ambassador.
So just to let you know, I'm pretty sure you've seen this, but I'm out of my gold. Trade. If you remember, I got stopped out two or three times at 1850. I was entering at 1850, and I got stopped out, and then I got entered again, and I got stopped out, and I think 2 or 3 times I got stopped out, and finally I caught the good one yesterday. So let me just show you where I am with gold and what I did. So this was like a safe haven play. Now, from the trend point of view, if you remember, I was looking at these swing highs here, 1878. So on my chart, this was 1878. So that was the kind of limit order as well. And the 1850 entry was down here. So I was really happy with that. Really textbook scenario, corrective pullback, entry to buy and so on. Now, and if you remember, this was yesterday, I was saying if this breaks to the downside, I wouldn't be surprised to see a flush lower to 1840. So I would get out of my trade and then look to re-enter again long at that level. So today, from gold point of view, let me see, where would I get in? Okay, so gold is uptrending in my book now. So if I check this out in daily, okay, so daily time frame is uptrending quite nicely. So that's a big trend line. Then we also have this other trend line, and this other trend line is much steeper. The angle of the trend line is much steeper. Therefore, it's weaker than the other one. The steeper the trend line angle, the more likely it is that they might break. Okay, but that doesn't mean that you should go and short an uptrending market. If you're shorting an uptrending market, you are going against the trend. Right, where is my S&P? Apologies. Let's see. It's getting ready. S&P is getting ready for my trade here.
More from Biden, says he has reason to believe Russia involved in false flag moves. Biden says he has no plans to call Putin. And comments from Bullard here to CNN: we want to pursue the best policy we can and let the market adjust appropriately. Does note we have high inflation in the United States.
Sorry guys, I'm paying attention to what's going on with the S&P here. It looks like I could get in on this.
And Biden says the threat of Russian invasion is very high.
There we go. As soon as he says something like that, markets are reacting.
More than 300 basis points.
I'll just show you where I am with S&P, and then I'll go back to gold.
Bullard says this is the moment where we need to share to less accommodation.
And this looks... so it's a 50% fib. It tagged that level, and now it's doing this. So
Bullard repeats a good target is to have the funds rate up by about 100 basis points by July the 1st. Not the first time we've heard this call from Bullard. Says good target is to have the funds rate up by 100 basis points by July the 1st.
okay, this is 1 minute, so yeah, don't mind me. Oops, sorry, didn't mean to do that. Don't mind me, I'll just leave it here for now. I'm really getting ready, fine-tuning this. So what would I do with gold, guys? This is what I would do. I would like to see, so there is another trend line here, so this is even steeper one. So what I would like to see is, I would like to see a pullback now. Pullback from these current levels down to this zone, previous swing high. Then a loss of that level.
More from Biden says there is every indication they are prepared to go into Ukraine.
And then a dip towards 1860. So I would then buy at 1860, and I would put my stop loss at 1850, which is down here. So that's the amount of risk I would take on this trade, with a view to take profit higher towards 1900 and higher. So the conditions for that they don't exist at the moment. They don't exist at the moment. They're not there yet. But that's what I would like to do.
May have had some tech issues in the last few minutes. We'll run through the comments we've just had. Heard from US President Biden saying reason to believe Russia's involved in these false flag moves, and there's a very high threat of a Russian invasion. Biden saying he has no plans to call Putin. Biden then saying there is every indication that they are prepared to go into Ukraine. We've heard from Bullard in the last few minutes as well, says the Fed wants to pursue the best policy they can and let the market adjust appropriately. Speaking to CNN, did note they have very high inflation in the US and they're missing their inflation target by more than 300 basis points. Bullard then repeating his previous guidance that a good target is to have the funds rate up by around 100 basis points by July the 1st. Apologies to anyone who missed those comments. Tech issue does appear to have been resolved.
So here we go. Markets are definitely moving.
Doesn't think raising rates would be risking a recession. Says this is about first moves away from accommodative policy.
Markets are definitely moving on this kind of geopolitical risk here. So let me see where I am. I'm gonna go and click on a little order here for gold.
And NATO, Stoltenberg commenting now, NATO is concerned about the increased number of ceasefire violations going on in Ukraine.
Okay. So I'm looking for this 1860 to buy. Are you guys looking at anything yourselves? Is anything of interest?
Back to Bullard, thinking is that quantitative easing has already drawn to a close that will end in March.
We're about 5 minutes before the US markets open. This is that S&P. It's still setting up. I didn't trigger it just yet. But I'm paying a very, very close attention to this. I just want to see if I get a trigger. This is 1 minute, so this is the 5 minute, this is the 15 minute. Really happy with the levels, really happy with these levels. 44.53 is a big level for me, so keeping it open-minded at the moment for a possible short sell there. The other thing that I would normally talk about is FTSE. So let me show you what's going on with FTSE at the moment. FTSE was uptrending in my book. I decided to go long, and I'm out of this trade. Are you looking at anything, guys? Let me know. I'll be more than happy to try and look into it as well. So there is a consolidation here. Another level of interest now is at the cluster of these lows down here. So let me just remove some of these annotations, and I'll be looking at 7,500 again. Okay, I'll be looking at that level again. And then if that happens, then we are going to get this really ugly looking shoulder head. There's a double head here, and then another shoulder with a neckline, which could trigger to the downside. The alternative view would be a breakout above this falling resistance trend line and a push higher. So something like this, push higher from here would be bullish, and then I would jump on that trade as well. But so far I think I will probably look to
A
react
State
to it.
Department spokesman from the US says Russian action against our DCM was unprovoked and says this is an escalatory step.
Something like this. So pullback and then rally again. So that's what I would likely react to again. S&P. We are 2 minutes to US Open. I have nothing open apart from that cable. I am going to go and check out FTSE order buy at 7,500. Let's see. I might remove it if I see a volatility kicks in again in the market, but I'm out of this trade. A retest of this 7,600 few times, and eventually it turned lower. So I was happy that I got out of that trade. Really happy. WTI crude futures are also falling, which is a little bit unusual. Considering we're 1 minute to open. Which is a little bit unusual considering how well it did. And if you have increase in geopolitical tensions, then crude oil should normally be rallying rather than selling off. But I'm waiting for another. We are at the open now. This is open. US markets are open at the moment. Let me show you where we are. This is Nasdaq. This is Dow. This is gold. This is dollar yen. This is cable. This is euro dollar. And this is S&P. By the way, it's 2:30 my time, afternoon. It's the time when US markets open. Are you guys looking at anything? Is there anything of interest for you? Cable is doing quite well, so that's the only thing I have left open. I got out of my card and everything else is closed. So at the moment I'm just managing this position. This is the only position that I have open. I'm long from down here. I was looking at 135, if you remember, if you watched a few of these sessions before. I got in. The stop loss is above now, locking in a little bit of money. And this is my limit order, so I could be picked up with my limit order fairly quickly. If the price goes 7 points to the upside, I'll be picked up. And what I'll do at this point in time is I'll be greedy. Okay, so what I'll do is I will move my limit order higher, and I will go and take a half of my position. So not exactly half, but let's say I'll take 2 contracts out of 5, and I'm gonna take this money off the table. So what happened now is you can see that my position here was reduced from +5 to +3. Okay, because it looks like it could hit my limit order. And then I'll go into a higher time frame and identify the next level of interest as a potential limit order, which is 136.60. So I might squeeze a little bit more out of there, and then if that's hit, then I might be looking for this area up here, okay, 137.40, and so on and so on. So then I'm satisfying my desire to take some money off the table, because if the price goes here, it could possibly consolidate for a while. So therefore I'm just gonna protect myself, and then at the same time I will move my stop loss higher. So I'm locking in about 100 points on this trade, 99 points on this trade. So my current stop loss is at 135.90. Let's call it that way. So my stop loss is my limit, sorry, my stop loss is my take profit as well as my limit order as well in this case. So I've either, if it goes against me, I'll be stopped out with a profit. If it goes up, I'll be stopped out with a profit as well. So that's what I'm looking at the moment with cable. And I think I will likely be looking to do something with S&P very, very shortly. Very, very shortly. WTI crude, what I was looking at was down here. So let me just declutter some of these annotations. 90 is the good level there again. 88 down here. So if I go into a 4-hourly, this here is starting to look like another sideways consolidation like this. They have the tendency to break to the upside, but that didn't happen. So what I might do is I might react to this area down here again, 90.50 or even 90 or even 88.50. So down here. So all of this would be of interest for me. So what I mean by that is, if I see a selling pressure, selling pressure, selling pressure, and the price goes there and then starts rallying from there, I would likely be looking to buy, put the stop loss below, with the view to take profits higher. Now, just bear it in mind, my the price that I'm seeing
more from
here.
ECB's Lane, key message of the Fed meeting was upside risk over the near term.
The price that I'm seeing here is slightly different because this is based on a futures contract, and my brokers are offering high Raj.
Russia tells the US in a written response US counter-proposals on security were not constructive and ignored Moscow's key concerns. Russia says the Russian security proposals were intended as a complete package and they're not for the US to pick and choose from. That's Reuters citing Russia. Says the approach raises doubts that Washington committed to fixing the security situation in Ukraine.
Always good to see you, my friend. Always good to see you. You're more than welcome.
The response to the US said the growing US and NATO military activity is alarming and Russia's red lines are still being ignored.
Guys, we are coming to more or less the end of today's broadcast. I'm trying to keep this shorter than the other ones. Just trying to generate some ideas here, and hopefully you are finding this useful and actionable and beneficial, and you're learning from this in some way. And if you are, I'm really happy. I'm really happy with that. I'll be back with you tomorrow at the usual time. In the meantime, stay safe, happy trading, and I keep referring to this S&P, which could possibly trigger 38 minutes past 2. Could possibly trigger short today. I'll see how it goes, but that's where I am. That's where I am. Okay, so stay safe, happy trading. Happy trading, and speak to you soon.
And Russia says the US ultimatum set for Russia to remove troops from parts of Russia's territory, accompanied by sanctions and threats, are unacceptable, and they're undermining the chances of reaching an agreement. And back to ECB's lane, there's no change in their strategy or reaction function.
The last thing that I was talking about, I'm still here. I keep saying I'm still here. It's this one, dollar card. It's not doing anything at the moment. This is what I was looking at. I was looking at the existence of this for a potential push higher. I'm out of this trade. I'm not in this trade anymore. For those of you who've seen this from the beginning, I'm out of this trade. But it's still a possibility there. So thank you all for watching, listening. I'm definitely leaving now. So always time for you, my friend. Always time for you, Raj. Okay, take it easy, stay safe, happy trading, and talk to you soon.
And Russia says they'll